This is the editor of ezEngine. In this video I would like to give a quick overview over a number of features that it supports. So first of all, this is the scene editor. On the right hand side you have an asset browser where you can see all of the assets available in the project. You can filter by type, by path, etc. Here you have the perspective view. You can edit objects in the most common ways with scale, rotate and translate tools, but also various other things. You can also switch to orthographic views back and forth quickly and easily and modify your scene in here just as well. You can simulate the scene to see how it works. Using this button it will be simulated just inside the scene view, but the editor still has control over the camera. You don't really interact with the game. You can also use the play the game mode, which opens a separate editor window, where you then can actually interact with the scene. This is still running inside the editor and you can still modify things while you do so. So while I simulate, I can still take this object and move it somewhere else or change the color of something. I can also just export the scene for runtime usage and now play it in a standalone application. This now works exactly how you would ship your game. The editor is also very resilient to crashes because the editor is split into two processes: the actual process for the UI and the process that does simulation. If we were to kill the process, or more likely write code that actually crashes the engine will be stopped, but the editor detects that and can quickly and easily restore the engine process. This way we don't lose any data. We could even modify changes while the engine is not running, but nothing gets lost. As you've already seen, the engine also supports sound, physics, particle effects, and so on. You can modify these in separate documents where you can edit things. You have mesh previews, material previews, visual shader editors, visual script editor, a property animation editor where you can do simple animations, which then do, for example, something like this, and so on. Lots of functionality. This is a texture preview where you can see how textures get converted and compressed and so on. Of course, you can also use prefabs. A prefab is simply just a scene that you can completely edit and then drag into your scene. The engine is completely plugin based, meaning that all of these things, for example here the particle editor or the sound integration and physics and so on, are all coming from separate plugins that you can enable or disable if you want to replace it with something different. Therefore, it is very easy to get third-party integrations done. The engine also supports a lot of debugging functionality. For example, we can quickly and easily enable debug rendering of the bounding boxes. There are many other things that you can enable. You can also do this through a console. And you can easily extend this with custom configurations. For debugging, we also have a separate tool called the inspector, which can connect to a running instance over network and This application gives you lots of stats about what is currently going on, which resources have been loaded, how long frame times take, how much memory we are currently using, which file operations have been done recently, which other stats we get from the application. We can put that into Windows for visualization, and so on and so forth. A very valuable tool. You can also change the CVARs from here instead from the editor in case you are connected to a remote process on a different device. We also support a file serve tool which can send data over a network so that you can easily build a scene on the editor but have it, for example, running on a remote device like the HoloLens. We support live update for remote processes like the HoloLens. This is a very quick overview over the full functionality. There's lots and lots more. I made a lot of videos about all of the important features. Please check them out if you're interested.